Finally made it to Poetryspective, the great bastion of the last great bastion of all the poetry events, and I finally made it on the list. So thank you, Mish and Paul. Thank you. So here we go. All right. So this first poem's called "Am I in Love with You, or Am I in Love with Your Words or Mine?" And this is dedicated to everyone who's hooked up with a poet, including me. We start writing emails. In the beginning, they're pretty innocent, asking how are you, how was your day? But things hot up quickly. A few emails later, I add that I admire your work. You slip in that you admire mine. An Italian word is appended, maybe some Spanish. Then I know things are serious when we both speak to each other in Brazilian. We both know inside this isn't about common languages or about our days. This is about wanting sex, wanting love. I love you, you love me. Alas, we can't say that. Instead, we talk in circles, create analogies, use suggestive language. Write a heavily disguised poem because we just can't tell each other how we feel. But I can tell you without actually telling you that every time I read your words, I feel as if I'm being held tightly in your arms. Every time you ask for my advice, I feel like our hearts beat as one. Every time that you make an editorial suggestion, I want to run with you through fields of lavender, hand in hand, laughing wildly. But I realise we can never really be together. You don't see a future with me. So our only love affair is on the page, with our words, but words nonetheless. They say so much about us, but give so little away. Am I really in love with you? Or am I just in love with your words? Or maybe I'm just in love with mine, in love with you reading them back to me, enough to make me think it's love that's written for me. Thank you. Next one's called Risotto Rage, about an incident I had at an Italian restaurant that was highly unpleasant. And for everyone who loves risotto or hates it, either one. What is it with men of seeming privilege raging about food? Today I sat across from a man unhappy with his risotto. He claimed the rice was overcooked, drowning in an unappetizing brown soup. The waitress was kind, accommodatingly attentive, trying to take preventative measures by asking what she could do to stop an irate chef from taking things into his own hands. The man was blatantly unmoved and adamant he wouldn't pay. He knew the right way that risotto should be cooked and how it should look. Like he's the fucking risotto expert this side of the city. What a shitty bourgeois food snob. And just because he's the one to pay, he should get his way. He must get his way. I roll my inner eyeballs in disdain. What a pain. To hear the turgid dialogue play out over 20 minutes, while I pretend I haven't heard a word. I drown out the angry grumble between sips of quality Sangiovese red. I could be at that other place instead, with less noise and angst and reasonable prices. But I'm here, at this overpriced eatery, having my fine dining experience dissipated by irate risotto man. It's times like this I wonder, does God have a plan for every complainer to learn some empathy and manners? Or are they destined to be spanners in the works and allowed to act like jerks, while the rest of us pay full price and need to be nice to those who offer their service? I don't get the unfairness, and I don't get risotto. Why is it so highly valued on restaurant menus, at fine dining venues? Have we forgotten that risotto is a peasant dish and is nothing more than rice soaking in parmesan and a pool of stock? Overrated, undercooked, misunderstood. Should only be served to those who can't afford to eat and need to live off the rich carby calories for sustenance and energy. Not to be used to chew out the overworked chef in the kitchen, not to be used to be a bitching, whinging pain in the behind, not to be used as an excuse to be unkind. Yet angry risotto man demands to speak to the manager. Yet the chef was called out instead. Bad move. Chef is already punting for a fight. He's already defensive at the offensive claim that the risotto is overcooked. He offers to replace the dish but can't offer an exemption from paying. The man's face is now contorted in rage. Instead of being assuaged, he yells out, "Go fuck yourself." I can feel the energetic injury log from the other side of the table. I find this ineffable. This outrageous scene is so obscene. The manager has to be brought out to placate both parties. I am stunned that he is tolerating this level of bad behaviour. Does he want this man's business so badly that he's willing to let this psychotic arsehole get away without paying? A dish that most expected to cover at $30 a serve. This is not what good diners deserve. To let another psychopath demand this standard of being. I can't believe what I'm seeing. The manager is disproportionately apologetic. I am apoplectic. That he is letting him talk to his staff like that. That he is letting him get away without paying. The man's companion leaves behind his half-eaten steak with a bowl of pommes frites. I am now in the shits over this. I steal the remaining fries and swear off risotto. I will eat like a gypsy peasant at a place much more pleasant, at a place where a dish like risotto belongs. Thank you. I don't know where everyone lost that from. Too popular. Okay, next one's called Tough Women, Sad Girls. We look like tough women, but inside we are sad girls. We may look like we wear being a woman as a badge of honour. But for many of us, it is the albatross around our necks that strangles us from the inside. Our looks may entice, but our bodies betray. We are taught to be nice if we want our way. We are forced to smile when we are threatened by accusations of looking unhappy, angry or scorned. This is the curse we have worn since woman was born. Our well-being and security is conditional. At any moment, we can find ourselves back to fending for our emotional needs to be met again. As women, those words that blow through us feel bitter. When we wither, we act tough, but it isn't enough. That veneer is a thin veil at best. It never truly masks our sadness. We deal with this by protesting we are okay. But the truth becomes clear when that veneer falls away. When our men leave us, our children scorn us, our parents bring confusion upon our sense of self and worth. We don't belong to ourselves, but to this abusive world that demands we are owned by a man, a system, a religion. We aren't tough, we are sad. Sadness that can never truly be solved or dissolved, as long as we are told to cover it up or push it down. We will just be sad girls that hang around. Thank you. I've created a new manuscript of poems. That's going to be my next chapbook. And I decided that I would make the most repulsive, unpublishable book of poems ever, that if any editor dares to pick it up, they will just put it right down because it's filthy. And it's called Care Bear Stairs and Other Kitsch Poems of the Modern Age. And I came up with this within a day. So the first poem is called Care Bear Stairs, just about how insincere caring can be sometimes. Care Bear Stairs. You stare at me with those round, surprised eyes. You stare, but I wonder, do you care? Does your sewn-on smile generally radiate happiness? Will your supposed caring nature soothe my distress? Will your bright colours truly gloss over my impending doom? Will your lush felt surface take away the gloom that lingers nigh, as your furry fingerless paws reaches over mine and reminds me you are there? Yet I ask myself, do you really care? Thank you. Next one's on Buffalo Bill. It's called Buffalo Billapalooza. God blessed ice cream for a hat and caramel ice cream for the brim, eyes and mustache. Strawberry for the face and a bulbous bubblegum nose. Bill is the pop star of the street's ice cream family, far surpassing Golden Gate Time and Cornetto. 3 flavours and bubblegum in one treat is truly hard to beat. Yet I wonder about its sexist patriarchal overtones. I'm not impressed by the Stan Cash porno moustache, and while his face is pink, he might as well be white. With that broad-holed cowboy hat he is toting, I feel like he is symbolising a racist, nationalist, imperialist sentiment that doesn't sit well. And is it made for the palates of little boys' tastes so they can remember what's good for boys and what belongs to girls? Is it a reminder of a material world that has divisions and little provision for tolerance for difference? Or is it just a cute ice cream the shape of a gunslinger? Am I just a whinger over nothing of substance? I guess I'll just chew on that nose and muse over this ice cream confectionery of little significance. Thank you. Okay. This is called Teddy Ruxpin Voice. Teddy Ruxpin was created as an animated bear, doling out sage advice. But where was Ruxpin Bear when life wasn't so nice or so straightforward? Nowhere to be seen or heard. Where was Teddy Ruxpin's voice telling me that this was my body and my choice? When creepy men touched me up and spiked my drink. What did Teddy think when I had to get a termination or ask for contraception? Would he have just mechanically opened his mouth and made one of his mechanical suggestions? Like everybody else did. Be a good girl, don't wear short tight skirts. Colour within the lines and you'll be fine. Would he have slowly blinked and made me think that he understood and really cared by delivering one of his pre-recorded lines on his cassette to make me forget I was upset, such as, you got to take care of you. Is being neat hard to do? You have to earn the things worth having. And my favourite, helping each other makes everybody happy. Where will Teddy be when the stock market crashes? When tsunami-sized waves smash onto our shores from rising seas? When people die from incurable disease? When Harvey Weinstein sleazes onto another starlet? When the skies are covered in a scarlet, foggy pollution? When governments give up on coming up with solutions? Teddy's voice will be silenced, because no well-meaning voice will make things good, take away the pain or make things better. Because no one wants to hear a mechanical voice that doesn't live in the real world, that doesn't know pain or the human condition. No one wants to act upon the advice of a mechanical bear to make their decisions. Thank you. Next one I'm going to dedicate to my brother in poetry, Sean O'Callaghan. It's called Bukowski Hated Mickey Mouse. For all those who hate Mickey Mouse or otherwise. In an interview with Bukowski's third wife, Linda Lee, Linda discussed quite candidly Bukowski's hatred for Mickey Mouse. His gloved 3 fingers and lack of a soul, the pasted over gloss of America's dark heart. Bukowski said Mickey didn't present anything real. Mickey was the icon for those who could no longer feel, who would fool you into thinking the war was over, that the bloodshed didn't matter, that racism was a side issue, and women were around to push vacuum cleaners and make cakes. It wasn't America who made the mistakes, but everyone else who doesn't watch juvenile animation and buy into false justifications. Mickey was the Faustian dictator, America's Führer in their motherland. Bukowski hated Disneyland and all that Mickey represented. He resented every wide-eyed, mousy, fingered glove. But you'll be called a Nazi if you don't claim it's America and Disney you love. Thank you. This is from my first chapbook, Adventures in P Minor, which you can read over there. This is called This Body. This body was once used for everything else it wasn't intended for. It was used for reading copious quantities of books in dim light, until I damaged my eyesight. for listening to my stepfather blaming me for the family woes, even though those things weren't my fault, until I lost my ability to only own my actions and not absorb the misdemeanors of others, especially my mother's, for damaging my heart by loving bad men, until I lost my malleability to soften when someone showed interest, for overeating until I lost my digestive function to metabolize food into energy and I developed type 2 diabetes, for keeping my fatigued body awake until I lost my desire to rest and reflect, for taking part in abusive, fucked up sex until I had no desire to make love. But now I use this body to create, speak in rhyme, dream, play, while the hours away, swim in the ocean, roll around in sand. At times I don't know if I'm woman or man. This body is God's perfect instrument of expression. This body forgives me for all those transgressions. I love this body for all it gives, for making me driven. I love this body for all it's given, for making me driven. I love it for all the pain, all the lessons, the memories of failure, the briefer moments of orgasmic ecstasy. I love this body. I give this body back to the one who matters most, back to me. Thank you. Anyone who wants to buy my new zine, it's just over there. It's called Sweet and Sour, Salty and Bitter, and it's volume 1. And it's from my exhibition that I did last weekend in St Kilda, and there's also some postcards there as well. So come and see if you'd like to purchase a copy. Thank you.